Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. Look, if just the thought of preparing for the IELTS exam gives you a knot in your stomach, you know what? Your feelings are completely valid. It can honestly feel a lot like walking through a minefield, because you're not just being tested on your English, are you? No, you're trying to manage your time, decode tricky instructions, and dodge all these little hidden traps that can literally blow up your target score. But take a deep breath. Today, we're laying out a complete survival map, using direct insights from official guides and expert strategies. By the end of this, you are going to know exactly where to step.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our 6-step agenda. 1. Choosing your path. 2. Cracking the 9-band scale. 3. Listening. Navigate the minefield. 4. Reading. The vocabulary test. 5. Writing. Keep it simple. And 6. Speaking. Effortless and natural.
All right, starting right off with step 1, choosing your path, academic versus general training.
So which test do you actually need to take? A lot of test takers get super stressed about this right out of the gate, but here is a really comforting fact. The listening and speaking sections, they are exactly the same for both tests, the whole shebang. It's only the reading and writing sections that are different. But, and this is a big but, choosing the wrong path can result in a rejected application, so we need to be incredibly precise here.
Your choice absolutely depends on your final destination. The academic test assesses your English in complex educational contexts. So if you want to go to a university for undergraduate or postgraduate studies anywhere in the world, the academic test is your only option. Honestly, submitting a general training score to a university will instantly result in an incomplete application. Now, on the flip side, the general training test uses everyday, social, and workplace English. It's perfectly designed for anyone wishing to migrate to an English-speaking country, gain work experience, or study below degree level. Always double-check with your specific institution or immigration body first.
Moving right along to Section 2, cracking the 9-band scale and understanding the goal.
Now, what's really fascinating here is how the IELTS officially defines a perfect Band 9 score. They call it an expert user who has a fully operational command of the language. What does that actually mean? It means your use of English is appropriate, accurate, and fluent, and it demonstrates a complete understanding. Notice that specific phrase, operational command. It means you can use the language effortlessly as a tool. It doesn't just mean you've swallowed a dictionary and memorized every word.
But let's take a look at Band 7. This is a highly desirable target score for so many university admissions and immigration programs. A Band 7 is a good user. You still have that operational command, and you handle complex language well, but, and this is absolutely crucial to remember, you are allowed occasional inaccuracies. That's right, you do not need to be flawless. Misunderstandings might happen in unfamiliar situations, and you know what? That is completely okay. Understanding this should take a massive amount of pressure off your shoulders. You don't need perfection, you need effective communication. Oh, and keep in mind, if you ever feel your final score doesn't accurately reflect your abilities, you can always request a remark through the Enquiry on Results or EOR process.
All right, time to enter the first true hazard zone. Section 3, Listening. Navigate the minefield.
This is the 30-minute listening test. And man, this is where the minefield analogy really kicks into high gear. Why? Because you only get to hear the recording exactly once, no rewinds. The reason this trips up so many people is the extreme multitasking that's required. You aren't just sitting back on the couch and passively listening. You have to read the question, actively listen to the audio, focus so you can predict the next word, and write your answer down all at the exact same time. It's intense. The most successful students master these steps one by one. They use the quiet time before the recording even starts to read the questions carefully, underline keywords, and anticipate what they're about to hear.
But wait, here is the ultimate hidden mine in the listening test: your spelling. If you hear the correct answer perfectly, but you spell it wrong on the paper, it counts as a totally wrong answer. 0 marks, nothing. Our sources actually highlight a list of the most common spelling mistakes that cost students their band scores. Words like accommodation, with its double C and double M, or accidentally, ending in ALLY. Even the word writing is constantly misspelled, with an extra E thrown in the middle. You have to practice these deadly traps. Seriously, do not let a simple spelling error blow up your perfect listening comprehension.
Stepping out of the listening zone, we hit Section 4. Reading, the vocabulary test.
Welcome to the 60-minute reading section. Now, there is a massive myth floating around out there that skimming and scanning are all you need to ace this. But think about it like this.
Imagine you're flying a helicopter over New York City to find a very specific restaurant. Skimming tells you you're over Manhattan. Scanning gets you over Times Square. But to actually find the front door, you have to land the helicopter and look closely at the details. And this brilliantly illustrates our next major insight. As this quote flat out states, the reading test isn't really just a reading test. It is heavily testing your vocabulary.
Let's look at how this actually plays out in practice. The test is actively checking if you can spot complex synonyms. For example, if the question asks about a civil calendar, I guarantee you will not find those exact words in the text. You'll find a synonym like municipal calendar. If the question mentions something like split the day into 12-hour periods, the text is going to say 2 equal halves of a day. You must logically think through these synonyms, because if you just scan the page looking for exact identical words, you are going to be flying that helicopter around forever.
Which brings us to Section 5, Writing. And the mantra here, keep it simple.
Shifting gears into the 60-minute writing test, our sources highlight a golden rule. Please do not overcomplicate things just to sound sophisticated. Keep it simple. In Academic Writing Task 1, you're going to be presented with visual data, like pie charts showing energy production, and you're asked to summarize it in your own words. The key here is accurate, objective reporting. Do not add your own outside opinions about nuclear or gas energy. Nobody is asking for that here. You just need to group details together, write a clear overview, use some good linking words, and objectively describe the trends you see.
Then comes Task 2, the essay, which, by the way, is worth twice as many marks. Our sources reveal an optimal, completely foolproof structure for this. Read the question, pick just 2 straightforward main ideas, and build a solid 4-paragraph essay. That breaks down into a clear introduction, 2 main body paragraphs, and a conclusion. That's it. You don't need 12 complex philosophical ideas. Simple, clearly explained ideas drastically reduce your chances of making grammatical mistakes and guarantee that you actually answer the prompt.
So the absolutely crucial point here is this. You have to respect the strict word limits. You must write at least 150 words for Task 1 and at least 250 words for Task 2. If you fall short even by a little bit, you will face a severe penalty and lose marks. Now, if you're taking the computer-delivered IELTS, your word count shows up automatically on the screen. But if you are doing the paper test, you need to practice enough beforehand so you visually know exactly what 250 words looks like in your own handwriting.
Finally, we've reached the last phase, Section 6, Speaking, Effortless and Natural.
This is the 11 to 14-minute face-to-face interview with an examiner, and is structured to progressively challenge you. Part 1, that's all about you. It's everyday topics like your hobbies or your hometown. It's literally designed to warm you up and put you at ease. But Part 3 is the total opposite. It's all about abstract ideas and general concepts. So if Part 1 asks, what do you like to do on the weekend? Part 3 is going to ask, how have weekend leisure activities changed in society over the last 20 years? And bridging those 2 extremes is Part 2, where you get a cue card and you have to speak independently for 2 full minutes on a specific topic. Your strategy has to shift from personal and brief in Part 1 to extended, supported reasoning in Part 3.
Now, a lot of test takers make this huge mistake of trying to sound like a perfect robotic dictionary. They cram in all these bizarre idioms they barely even understand, but listen, examiners aren't looking for robots. As our sources point out, a Band 9 sounds effortless. It actually sounds like a normal, engaging conversation, and that is totally intentional. So focus on answering the question directly, extending your points naturally, and speaking clearly in your own natural accent. Do not overthink your vocabulary, just prioritize clear, natural communication.
So there we have it. We've navigated the different paths, decoded the multitasking madness of listening, landed the reading helicopter to find those synonyms, simplified the writing process, and embraced speaking naturally. You now hold the ultimate survival map for the IELTS. The only thing left? Taking action. So are you ready to step out of the minefield and confidently claim your target score? Or will you let a simple spelling trap hold you back? The choice is yours. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and happy studying!